Welcome back to Railroads Online, and this is episode 8 of the playthrough. And you can see that we finally finished this line, the 1.5% line that runs up to the iron mine. It has taken me a couple of days and a couple of times to rebuild it to try and get it to reach both the top and the bottom with a constant 1.5% grade the entire way. And I've needed to change the route quite a bit and stretch out some of these corners to try and gain length of track. Starting from the spot where I've started at the bottom does not give you as much room as what it does on my personal map. So I've had to sort of rework where I put the track at. But as you can see, we're nice and close up to the edge of the mountain, as close as we can be. And well, this is as much as I'll show you here, but I will skip forward until we're down at the sawmill and we'll load up the train with a load of materials needed for the iron mine and bring the train up and show you how the route turned out on with the actual train. And here we are back again through the magic of television at the sawmill. And we need to get the old cookie monster fired up because guaranteed she's out of fire because it's been a couple of days since she's been run. So I'll throw some fire in there. And we'll do a run along and check and make sure all our pins are in. All the way along to the end. But sometimes they don't load in when you haven't pressed the train up. Till the last brake is off. Now these are log cars. We're going to have to put these out of the way for the moment. We don't have a yard here at the sawmill yet. So we'll have to put them over in the passing lane on the way to the log camp. Doors and the windows. Maybe we've got enough pressure to pull forward. We do. Forward. So I'll be able to pull forward, drop these off in the passing lane, and if I remember rightly, we have left all the stake cars with Betsy at the freight depot where we unloaded the load of beams that we used to be able to afford to buy the cookie. Just need to run these ones in here. I was starting to slow down too much. Do it. Right. Close. Brake on so we don't roll away. Run down the other end and put the brake on at the other end. And while we're here, we'll flip the switch. It seems to take a long time in the game to run everywhere. But in actual fact, if you calculate out how fast this guy runs, he's like an Olympic sprinter that can run forever. So it's actually a little bit unrealistic as to how fast this guy can run. And I have heard the devs say that they had him set to run normal speed and then they sped him up. And that still wasn't Still took ages to get everywhere, so they sped him up some more, and yeah, 3 times they sped him up. So it's not that he doesn't move fast, it's just that, yeah, we've got to cover large distances. It all takes time. Okay, let's go for backwards, all the power. Are we up to steam? We are up to steam. So we'll just roar on back into the sawmill and take the switch and head off to the freight depot. If everybody's been keeping up with the news of the splines, the spline update that's coming, it will be about 2 to 3 weeks away until the first release hits on to the beta branch. However, it will only be the building tools and it won't be the complete game. I'm kind of expecting that there will only be the one test locomotive that's currently in the dev build. Will be all that will be in the update. So you will not be able to run operations on your locomotives or your rail network. It will be purely for testing the building mechanic. So it will actually be a proper beta test on the beta branch. And if anyone's playing on the beta branch and they want to keep playing, running their trains, it would probably be a good idea for them to get back onto the main branch until everything has been added to the game, because you won't be able to actually play, only be able to build on the beta branch when the update comes out. Alright, give her all the beans, we seem to be lined through. Yes, I really wish they'd give us a middle step crouch instead of putting your head on the ground or because yeah, sometimes corners go the wrong way and you have to go lean out the other side. Ice has been doing the Q&A videos. They have covered a lot of the stuff that will be coming out, and a lot of the questions and worries that people have been put to Queemy, and he has given answers to Heis, and Heis has brought out some videos for us. Everything on there looks like it's going to make the track building a lot better than what it currently is now. And well, I can't wait to get my hands on the track building, even though I won't be able to drive a train on it and run operations. I'll get a handle on how the new system works so that I can get tutorials out to everybody quicker. There we go, we're nearly here. And I have a feeling this switch will be set the wrong way for us, and it is. Slow it down to a roll. We need to come past all the consist and the other train and go up to the turntable, turn around so that we can come back again. And I think we've got more switches wrong here, so I'll have to slow down again. Run ahead. Yes, that's going to go the wrong way. I want to go up the re-rail track. That will be a derail if we hit that. This is something that will be changing in the first edition of the spline update. You will be able to run over the backside of switches. they will act as though they are a spring switch. Oh, we've had a wandering turntable by the looks of this. We're going to have to line it up before we get on it. Up there. Yeah, it's out of alignment. It's moved. That's not just out of alignment, that's moved. Oh, delete it and put it in again. Up it to there. Now it's lined up. Okay, that's the first time I've seen that happen. I will get put on the bug list. What did I do? What a guess. Yes, this is a big locomotive. You can't stand on the platform and spin this one around. You've got to slowly move it from the handle. That's a long way to go, 480 degrees to turn around. Not so bad when you're only switching from sort of one track to another track and they're only a couple of feet apart. Still takes just as much time as if we'd put a Y in here and we had to drive through the Y and back again. I don't think that tree's meant to be there. Go away, tree. I'm glad lucky that wasn't a derail on the turntable. The tree landing on it. Gonna be getting close. And just a few taps of the mouse button. Close are we? A little bit further. There we go. That should drive off of there now. Forward brakes, let's go. Home two. Alright. Blast on up to the other end. While we're here, we'll slow down a little bit. Let it roll. We'll disconnect it from Betsy here. Make sure that brake there's off. We'll check them all as we go. All the brakes and all the pins because we haven't used the train for a couple of days. Pins are all good, brakes are all good. This one here's on 100% good. Pull the locomotive back up around and change the switch. Set this up for a pin. Not sure what we're going to do with Betsy now that we've now that we've basically finished any use that we have for her. Whether I should put her up on a stand or make it a little monument, or put her into use somewhere as a shunting engine in one of the yards that will get built. Right, give her all the beans. Away we go, let's go get some logs. Not logs. We want half the wagons full of lumber and we want the other half full of beams. Because the ratio is 2 to 1. of how they fill on the rail cars, and the ratio we need up at the iron mine is also 2 to 1. So it's equal numbers of cars. Now I haven't actually driven on this iron mine line, the supply line, yet. I do not know whether it will cause derails. I may have even left corded pieces of rail where I've had to join sections together. So it will be a let's drive it and see situation. We could have derails, we could get there safely. The corners should be fine. The tightest corner on the route up there is 29 degrees. But whether or not we'll get round there safely, that's yet to be seen as well. There's a couple of sections there where I could not get a short straight in between a change of direction. But it's close to being a short straight where I've gone from a -3 to a +3. It might be enough for me to get away with, it might not be enough to get away with. We'll know when we drive over it. Yeah, we're nearly back at the sawmill. Could have a nice direct route, so it doesn't take that long to get between where you're going. And we will need to slow down a little bit here off regulator. Because we will need to... Oh no, we can go in the direction we're going. We can load that way and make out the other way. Will line us up on the grains. I'm pretty sure we've got 12 state cars. That should give us a nice little head start up at the iron mine. Well, the next route that we need to build now is we need to build that fun one down to the smelter where nothing's marked, and it's a case of you've got to find the best path yourself down the side of the hill. I'm going to attempt to put it in at a 2.5%. Which on my personal map, I had no trouble getting it at a 2.75%. I'm going to try for one step better. Oh, and I overshot that, didn't I? Overestimated the brakes. I'll have to back her up a little bit. Oh, Cookie Monster. Somewhere centered of those. Right, and I'll pause recording here and I will see you again when they're all loaded. And we are back again, and that is the train all loaded. And we can head off now to the iron mine. Probably be a good idea to put a little bit more wood here in the Cookie Monster. Yeah, look at that. Right on the point of it needing more wood. I need to get us to the top. Alright, let's get her underway. That's 6 loaded with lumber, 6 loaded with beams. We're going to have to wiggle a few switches down here. Get the train moving. Reasonable pace. There we go, and now we'll jump off and go down and move a few switches around so that we go the right direction. Okay, so go left at this one, right at this one, and then left at this one. Very sure the last two are already set, ready for us to start climbing up the hill. They are. Oh, fingers crossed. Let's hope it makes it to the top of the hill. Steam on there. Better of a run up that we get at this, the better it'll hold its speed all the way to the top as well. Full. Oh, I haven't put the... Oh, look at that. Well, there's some to add to the derail counter. I looked at the switch and I got it wrong. So we're going to have to pick these up out of the dirt. Or Cookie Monster. And I can't wait until we've got kick switches all on there. Ah, yes. That was a fail. Put that switch around. Add the tender. Oh, and that would have been a derail as well. Look at that. Oh, who else notices that? Can't drive over that. It's not going to work. How many have we actually derailed back here? Oh, it's 3 on the derail. Back car around. No. Put pin and link in there. Let's that link in there. Let's hope this last car rights itself. Oh, we've been run over. And we're going to have to wait until we go all the way up the other end. Then we can go back over the top. Brakes on there. Okay, and let's try that again, shall we? He's coming along. Can't quite see the back of the train from the trees. We'll run all the way up here in third person mode so that we can have a good look of the track as we're going. And yes, we've got all 12. Not much changed here down the bottom, even though I have moved everything. I had to build the string line to get this to line up. And I lost count of how many times it was. It was over and over and over again, ad nauseum, until I finally had it reach the bottom and end at the right spot so that we had enough track length. It's all pretty much the same positioning down here. We may be just a couple of inches higher or lower than what we were when we first put it in on the live stream. But we should be able to make it all the way up without losing any of our rail cars. Shame about the screaming and kick switch at the bottom. And we are right on the point of where it's enough load at 1.5 with 12 loaded, and it's just starting to keep it off of the full speed of the train. You get just that little bit of a snake going on there, and the carriages through all those little wobbles following the edge of the cliff face there. I put in some nice bridges along here. Everywhere where there's a gap, I've put in a bridge. Even though they didn't really need to be bridges, you could have left them all as stone wall, but I put them in as bridges because it makes the route look kind of interesting. Everywhere it gets just that little bit too deep for a bit of stone wall. And here we go, this is coming just into the big valley that runs up here with the cliff faces either side. This section here I would have to call the hardest bit of the map to build on. And I'm a little bit lower than what I was in my personal save because I started at a different place at the bottom. I haven't been able to get up quite as high onto the tops of the cliffs, and I'm sort of on the cliff faces here, and I've had to do a double height of stone wall for it to fully reach the bottom. But yes, this was a long way up, and I fell off of here a lot of times trying to build it. Even though I had a safety down the bottom, you still fall off and you land on the safety and you've got to run all the way back around and climb back up again, especially when you're at the point of putting in the string lines. That's, yeah, it's stuff that you don't want to film and put on video because it's just a lot of running around out of this valley back up to where you can actually climb back up onto the track again. Now, originally we had tried to go through this gap here, just to the right of us here now, and this is where I've gained the extra bit of track length at, is I've come around here at a 29-degree corner, right around the outside of the spur at the end of the mountain. Well, coming down that'll be a little bit more interesting, but going up, because we're not at full speed, we're only at about 14 mile an hour, it's not a problem going around there. But yeah, coming back down it'll be a little bit more interesting. And from here up it gets a little bit more boring on the route, because you can pretty neatly follow the edge of the mountainside here without needing to jut too far out, and put bridges and whatnot because it gets too deep. There's a couple of spots where we head around spurs, like we're coming up on one here, where you've got no choice but to come just that little bit wide so that you can get a proper radius corner around there. And again, this next one here, you've got to sort of come wide to be able to get a decent radius corner around here instead of hugging it nice and close to the front of the mountainside. And yes, we've still got all 12 there behind us. And this corner around here, this one's a 25. So it shouldn't be a problem on the way back down again. This is another spot where you've sort of got to come out a little bit wide again and hug right up close. But it makes for a good line up this side, and it's a good supply route side because you can get it in here at a 1.5% all the way. Whereas on the other side, the best I've ever gotten down that other side over the other side of the valley there on the marked route, the best I've ever gotten down there is a 2.5% without having silly deep groundworks. That's, you know, keeping the groundworks sort of close to the terrain like this here is. Like, it's deep on this outside, but on the inside it's nice up neat with the edge of the hill. Quite happy with the way this last little bridge here turned out. This one here turned out nice. I do like a little bit of curved bridge. And we're nearly there. We've only got a couple corners to go and we're there. Most definitely this is the best option for a supply side to the iron mine. You can get the materials up from the sawmill the quickest with the least amount of stress. After the line's built, of course, it's quite a bit stressful to get that line built on the top of them cliffs. And here we'll drop back into first person view. Back off the power and roll in, but just dragging a little bit of brake. All the corners up here should be good. The inside lane gets a little bit tight. Are we going to pull up? We're kind of heavy. That should be enough. And no, it's not. Gonna have to put a brake on. Stop. We have lost some load because it did not stop. Well, that's a bummer. Load dropped on the ground. Push it back. So we're going to come back a little. Oh. How many did we lose? We've lost 2. We're on hard, so losing bits of our load is never a good thing. Right here. Forward brake. Mouse is playing up. I think I need to get a new mouse. Okay, this time let's try and get it going slower. Well, let's try that one, guys. Roll past at the right speed now. That looks a lot better. Of course, it'll speed up as it gets lighter because there's that weird bit of physics bug going on. Load some of these and we're making iron ore now. And this one unload next. This one at this end. Hopefully we've got enough room there to get the whole train to come past and not run off end of track. We'd throw a couple of extra cross tracks at the other end just in case we did need to have that little bit of extra room. 2 more to go. And that's the last one, and we'll put the brake on here. Got a pin and a link in this end. One of these brakes is on halfway. We're going to find it and turn it off because we don't want that on. It's that one. Wrong way. And do we have enough room? We do, so we can just unpin from there. Run forward out here onto these couple of cross tracks I've put in. Give us enough room to... Oh, I don't want to run off the end. Stop, stop, stop. That switch so we can come back round the runaround. Should miss those rail cars. Yep, we do. And to get everything in just at the right size. Now the turnaround operation up here is back past this switch here. Better check to make sure it's lined right, and it is. Brake. Hold the switch to the side. Into this little siding that's got the turntable on it. Too quick. Now we've got a little bit of a runoff and a dirt pole at the other end. Brakes, how do I need to come forward just a little bit more? Do it. Hi, I'm spinning it around again. And by the time we've got this all hooked up and around, it should have processed through all the materials we bought up. Of course, how are we off money? Yes, we do not have enough money yet to start buying up hoppers, and we don't have anywhere to take the iron ore to yet, so need to do a couple of loads up here. Go down now. The old hand operated ones. In real life, you'd have 3 or 4 people pushing on that. Now we can drive back off the correct direction, and we're pointed ready to come back down the hill again. And we'll let that roll, and while that's rolling, we'll race over here and flip this switch over to the other way, so we can come back onto the line. Through all the trees. And you've probably noticed I've run since I've finished this line off, I'll run the replant tool again and put the trees that could be put back up here at the iron mine back again. Make it look all pretty. On through this switch. Right back the other way. Connect back onto the rail cars so that we're ready to head back downhill again. In a bit, we don't want to slam into them. Ready to go. I think I slowed it down a little bit too much. It'll speed up by the time it gets here, because, you know, rolling resistance is kind of not really rolling resistance, only rolling resistance when you're going fast. As soon as you're going slow, you'll get acceleration. Gear brakes on there, and we are ready to head back down the hill again. And we'll pull the train up here now that it's all nice and neatly on the lane. And well, that's it for today. We've had 3 derails on the back side of a switch. Switches seem to be my nemesis, so that's 5 derails total we've had on the playthrough. And all of them have been on the back side of a switch. Okay, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next episode.